The night was cold. Rain kept falling on the muddy ground, washing away the blood that had dried on the trenches. Somewhere in France, 1944, a young soldier named Thomas Reed sat under a broken wall. His uniform was torn, his hands shaking, his eyes half closed from days without sleep. He looked at the small photo in his hand, a woman smiling, holding a baby. It was his wife, Eleanor, and their little boy, Sam. He touched the picture softly, whispering, "I hope you'll forgive me if I don't come home." The sky cracked with thunder, but Thomas didn't move. He opened his small notebook and began to write, slowly, carefully, with a trembling pencil. "My dearest Elena." His voice was weak, but his words were strong. Each line he wrote carried pain, love, and fear. "When you read this, I may already be gone. Please don't cry for me. Remember me as the man who tried his best, not for war, but for peace. Tell Sam his father loved him more than anything in this world." He paused. The sound of distant gunfire echoed across the fields. Thomas looked up and smiled bitterly. "So this is it," he whispered. "Maybe this is how it ends." He folded the letter carefully and placed it inside his jacket, close to his heart. 2 weeks before, he had promised Elena he would come back. He remembered her standing at the station, eyes full of tears, lips trying to smile. She had said, "Just promise me, Thomas, you'll come home." He had smiled. "I promise, love, no war can stop me." But war had its own rules, and promises, no matter how strong, often broke under the sound of explosions. The morning came too early, grey skies, smoke, the sound of tanks rolling closer. Thomas's unit was ordered to hold the line near a small French village called Saint-Marcel. They were outnumbered, tired, hungry, but still standing. As bullets tore through the air, Thomas shouted, "Hold your ground, don't let them through." His voice echoed through chaos. Men screamed. Explosions covered the ground with fire. And in that moment, he forgot about fear. He fought not for orders, but for the people behind him. Hours passed, smoke filled the sky. Thomas's arm was bleeding, but he didn't stop. When the radio went silent, he knew. Help wasn't coming. He touched his pocket again, the letter, he whispered to himself, and she'll get it, somehow she'll get it. And then the last grenade rolled near his trench. He looked at it, and without hesitation, threw himself on top of it. A blinding flash. Then silence. Days later, when the village was freed, soldiers found his body under rubble. In his hand, still clenched tightly, was the letter. The paper was soaked with rain and blood, but the words could still be read. A medic picked it up carefully and said softly, "He saved the entire squad." The letter was later sent to his wife. When she opened it, the ink was smudged, but the words were enough to break her heart. Elena sat on the porch of their small home in Kentucky. The sun was setting, and she held the letter close to her chest. Her tears dropped one by one on the page. She whispered, "You came home, Thomas, just not the way I wanted." She placed the letter in a wooden box with his photo and the small toy car he had made for Sam. So every night she'd tell her son stories about his father, about the man who loved deeply, fought bravely, and wrote his own goodbye. Years passed. Sam grew older, became a soldier too, just like his father. But he carried that letter everywhere he went. He said it reminded him that love and courage can live forever. One day, during a memorial ceremony, he read the letter aloud. People cried silently as he spoke his father's final words. "Even if I don't return, know that I never left you. Because love doesn't die, it just changes its uniform." The crowd stood still, no one clapped, no one moved. Only the sound of the wind carried Thomas's story into the distance. Thomas Reed's name is still carved into the memorial wall in Normandy. But for Elena and Sam, he never truly disappeared. Every letter, every story, every heart that still remembers him, keeps him alive. He wrote one last letter and vanished into history, but his words, his love, never vanished.